any clip where we're talking about the Acolyte has gotten more views than anything else that we've put out in a long time.
Dude, I've been swimming in these waters all week because, waiting in a waiting room at the hospital or whatever. It's just, and there has been issue after issue after issue happening. All these little things that keep building up to this huge shit show that's happening right now. It's amazing. And everything that Disney has done has only made it worse. Every single thing.
But here's the downside. Like, we've got, I mean, I'm not saying we're getting millions of views, but we're getting thousands of views that we haven't gotten before. And the more views you get, the more comments you get.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the internet, so.
And here's what I want to say. If you're watching this right now, or if watching this after the fact or whatever, and you don't agree with the point that I or John or Don make on this podcast, you're more than welcome to reply with a coherent argument against why we're wrong, or just say, hey, I don't agree with that, whatever. When you try to just levy a personal attack and that's it, like, why? Like, do you really have no life that's what you have to do, is go on TikTok or YouTube and say, you guys need to go to the gym, or how come people who defend the Acolyte look like this, or anything like that? That's
the tamest that I've seen so far.
Oh, there's been worse. And here's the thing. I go in and, like,
some
if
YouTubers
it's really
have
bad,
gotten death threats.
Well, we haven't gotten those yet. I'm sure they're coming. But of course, like, I block the person because it's like, you obviously don't have anything significant to contribute or intelligent to contribute. So, like, I don't have time for you. So yeah, just like, that's the thing. I was told by someone who also does a podcast, oh, you shouldn't block them. It's like, yeah, no, like, again, we've got enough comments on these videos, these clips, that I don't need to worry about the people that are just insulting. Like, that does not bring conversation. All that does is encourage other people to do it.
Well, I mean, disagreement is fine.
Right.
Like, that's our God-given right as Americans and whatever to disagree. That's free speech. But
America.
But right. Well, hopefully without the shooters. But yeah, but some of the things that are being bandied about, like, all these YouTubers are getting hit with basically probably what you've seen. And it's, there's a lot of comments that are not, like, cogent, are not helpful at all. And those I don't mind deleting, because there's no reason for anybody to be exposed to that kind of vitriol and just evil in some cases.
Right. I mean, and it's funny because, like, I say something to the girlfriend about it, and she's like, oh, don't worry about that. You're a good person, and, you have people that love you. Like, who cares what they say? And it's just like, yeah, but you get enough of those comments. It does hurt. Like, just saying. But yes, I do have a girlfriend out there. People who want to say stuff.
Don't listen to them, Dave. Don't listen to them.
So,
sad, man. Listen, people like that, they got it worse than you. That's really kind of the truth. So I pity them.
Yeah, you're probably right there. And speaking of the internet and comments, let's do a couple of these real quick before we get to the Acolyte. So, I don't remember if you guys remember last week we were talking about the Acolyte, of course, and I had said something along the lines like, too bad JD's not here, because he would say, something he always says is, you don't create art by committee. Like, this idea of not making the fans happy is a bad idea, and I get it. Like, you do have to find a balance between making the audience happy and doing something different.
Well, I mean, if you're an individual creator, you're creating because you want to create something. That doesn't mean you have to make anybody happy, but yourself. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, go watch something else.
But in reply to that, we got a couple comments over on TikTok. Talking Smack, SMAC said, Star Wars by committee is how we got Rise of Skywalker.
This is true.
Yeah, you know what? I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy involved with that too.
Right, because like they brought Palpatine back thinking that was going to save that movie. Jaw and Doe said, I stopped watching halfway through Andor because I got bored. I just didn't care about Cassian or anyone.
That's an unusual. Like Andor is widely popular. It's widely considered one of the best Star Wars properties.
And it is, but there are people who do think it was boring. I mean,
oh wait, Don.
Well, if you let it cook, though, I will admit, you know, in watching it in the first time, I almost didn't watch it because I'm not a huge fan of Rogue One. So I really wasn't that interested in the character. But, you know, what the hell? I like Star Wars, and I got the Disney app in, you know, some time. So once it gets going, though, and you start learning kind of how it is a different sort of show and what it is driving at, it got a lot better for me. So I can understand how someone doesn't exactly commit and maybe burns out in the first 3 episodes.
Is that both like, is this like a side effect of the society that we're currently living in, where everybody wants everything right away? And it's like, if you don't, and I know like this is something that a lot of writers and TV directors are saying now, is if you don't grab somebody in the first 5 minutes, they're gone. But some of the best stuff in geek world, like, oh God, that's One Piece. Hey, you need to let that cook for 37 episodes, and then you are hooked for the next 1,000. Like, but if you don't let things cook, you can't care about the characters because you haven't been given time to give the people a characterization that they can relate to, so that they can, you know, care about what happens in the show, right?
You're bringing up one of the best points about the whole Star Wars thing, is that Star Wars was always movies until, I mean, discounting, Disney, not counting the cartoons, right? Because the Clone Wars was around before the sequel trilogy, but it always been 2-hour movies, right? And so like, you've got to have action right away in a movie to grab people in. Like, that's just how these things kind of go. Think of the opening scene in A New Hope, right? The ships being captured, stormtroopers and rebel guards fighting laser battles in the hallway, everyone dies, Darth Vader comes out, like, it grabs your attention, right? And then boom, we're off.
Oh yeah, one of the greatest opening scenes of cinema, right?
Right, but all the shows aren't that good at doing that. I'm being honest. Like, they cook longer, right? You're taking something and making it 8 hours or whatever, or however long, right? If it's, some of these shows are an hour long and you get 8 episodes, it's 8 hours instead of 2 hours. So they have more time to breathe and tell more backstory, and people don't like that. They want it in 2 hours. They want it in a compact form because that's what they're used to with Star Wars.
Oh, now wait a minute. You tell any One Piece fan that they don't like backstory, and dude, like,
no, I'm not saying that.
We're not talking to One Piece fans. So
well, I know
Star Wars.
The thing is, like, I find personally, I find getting backstory like that helps you connect to the characters better. It makes me care about them more when something happens to them in the show. That's the whole point of having series, giving things time to breathe, so you can connect more with the characters, you know?
Sure. But let's say you're, I don't know, somebody like me. You've got 3 kids and a wife. You maybe got an hour today to do something cool. Oh, do I want something slow, or do I want at least an episode, me personally, to give me at least a hook? And if you don't get that, you're an anime person. You are way more nuanced, dedicated, and patient. And that's just not, you're the exception, not the rule.
I get it. I mean, I get it. Like, okay, you still want a hook, but even so, Go ahead.
Kassan says Star Wars video games and books would like to enter the chat. I'm not going to disagree with you, Kassan, but the percentage of people who read the books versus have seen the movies, you know, I mean, I think you're talking maybe 25% of the Star Wars fans have read the books, and 75 and the rest have all seen all the movies. Like that's what I'm getting at. Like it, and that's why there's so much blah about all the shows. People didn't like a lot of people didn't like the Obi-Wan show, and I'm still like iffy about it, but it gave us one of the greatest scenes in the last episode. But you had to watch 7 other episodes to get to that fight between Obi-Wan and Darth at the end, right? Like there's a lot of people who aren't willing to do that anymore. I mean, look at what entertainment's become. TikTok and shorts and reels. Like, people are endlessly scrolling on their phones, watching these really short clips for entertainment.
And it's not doing our society any good at all. It is destroying our society, I would say. I mean, people can't relate to other people anymore. They want instant gratification. It's overloading your brain with what's that drug that we produce when something good happens?
Serotonin.
Right?
Serotonin.
Yeah. It's like the whole point of serotonin, evolutionary wise, was when you do something good, like you catch something and eat it, you feel good and you want to do that again. It helps with survival of any given species.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, we've gotten to the point where our intelligence has evolved to the point where we can artificially manipulate that. Food manufacturers have been doing that for decades, you know. But this social media stuff is just destroying us.
And then Onion Core said, "I'm tired of these so-called Star Wars fans licking the boots of Disney. Disney is destroying Star Wars, and those that defend it are helping them."
Yep. And you'll watch the next episode. So have a great day. I'm getting that on my videos too. On my last my video for the latest Acolyte episode with my rating, people are saying, "You're not a real fan. You're an activist." If I'm an activist, we're fucked.
Oh my God, yeah.
I maybe leave my house once a week. That's not good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. It's just these weird divides we have in our culture, and it's like not just left and right, but like just these people who create categories and group things, and it's just like a real Star Wars fan wouldn't like this, and it's like, well, no. Like, if I'm a real Star Wars fan, I'm going to take everything that's produced as canon and watch it, and then decide for myself if it's good or not. Like, just because you have some weird definition of what a Star Wars fan is allowed to like and not like doesn't mean I have to follow that. But it's one of those, if you're not with me, you're against me mentality that we all have.
Okay.
So
that's the problem.
Let's save it for the main discussion. We're like, unless you want to just do it, but like I know you've got
all right. Thanks for watching this clip from the Superhero Speak podcast. And don't forget to watch us live every Sunday night right here on this channel.
While you're here, hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications so you won't miss out on any of our great upcoming content.
Speaking of content, don't forget to check out our website, superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast, links to our social media, merch, comic reviews, and so much more. That's superheroespeak.com.
Thanks for watching, and don't let your cape be caught in the door. See you next time.